Well, hello. I'm your chess coach, Frederick Christ. In the coming months, I'm gonna try to prepare you for what might be the biggest tournament in all of chess, the One Love Cup Championship, held every summer in Carteret. Now I understand that it might seem like a daunting task to learn chess in such a short period of time, but I promise you that if you study my videos and practice what I preach, you will have the best chance of actually lifting that trophy. So, I'm gonna give a couple of lessons through the medium of YouTube, and of course we should start at the beginning. Today we're gonna learn about openings. So let's talk openings. When you open a chess game, you want to fight for the center. The center are these 4 squares. If you can control these 4 squares, you have a huge advantage. How do we do that? From the early moments, especially if you're white, you want to fight for the center by moving one of your center pawns being the pawns in front of your queen or your king, forward. When you open with a pawn, you can put them 2 forward. So one of these 2 to start with is a great move. Let's say we open with our king's pawn. Black responds by doing the same. Now here you could do this, but you immediately force a trade, and then you have to come out with your queen early, and that is not advised. Alright? So let's say black does a parallel move. There are a couple of things we can do now. So we could now push another pawn like this, but we could also come out with a knight. The knights are very important in the opening, and you always want to try to develop the knights to these 2 squares, because that's where the knights like to go in the opening. So, for example, if you play a pawn here, you take away the natural development square of the knight. So, there are some openings in which you can play this, but as a beginner, I would try to recommend to try to get your knights on these squares. Alright? So, that's what you should do. So let's say we open with our knight here. Well, we are attacking this pawn, so black would respond by defending it. Great. Now, we could develop the other knight. Black could do the same. And once we get our knights out, that's when we start getting our bishops out. So first try to get your knights out, because it's very obvious they just go there. But a bishop has a lot more choices. You can get your bishop here, but even here, here, or here. So there's like 4 squares. So after like 3 moves, there might be some possibilities with your bishop. So try to first develop your knights, then get your bishops out. So let's say we put our bishop here. Black puts the bishop here. Now, this bishop is still trapped by this pawn. So say we put our pawn here. Black does the same. And we get this bishop out there. Great. Now, black also wants to continue development, so put their bishop here. So this is what we call completed development. This is what we want. We've got our 2 center pawns forward. We've got our pieces out, so our knights and our bishops. That's the first step. The next step is what we call castling. Now castling can go in two ways. You can castle short. Then you are castling on the side on which your king is standing. So how castling works is your king and the rook mustn't have moved. If they have moved, especially if the king has moved, you cannot castle anymore. Castling is very important. Why is it important? Because your king is very vulnerable in the center of the board. Alright? Great. So you want to castle short. You do it by moving the king 2 squares over and then sliding the rook. But let's say, for example, the queen was standing over here. Then we could also castle long on the queen side. So again, the king moves 2 squares over and this rook comes here. Alright? Now in this scenario, black probably would also have castled. Okay. Now, this is the end of the opening stage. I recommend, as a beginner, to try and follow these steps. So, center pawns, getting the knights out, getting the bishops out, castling, and then, only then, start to attack. That is crucial. The chances of you making a mistake in the opening this way, unless you play like totally reckless and just hang a piece, like for example if you put your bishop here at the opening, yeah, okay, it gets captured. So be careful for that. But if you don't, if you be careful, of course keep scanning for possible attacks. But if you play it right, you could get a position like this, and from here on out it's a lot easier to find attacks than it is when you're just going totally ballistic with one piece. So I hope you found this first lesson helpful. Next time we're gonna get into some more advanced stuff, and I'll see you all next time.